Welcome to Bon Appetit, where we make all of your dreams in the kitchen come true. Today we'll be working on a 5-cheese macaroni and cheese. If you look, we have our ingredients all set up. We call this mise en place. We have 1 pound uncooked elbow macaroni, 2 cups of whole milk, vitamin D whole milk, 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter, organic this time, and also 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. We've got rock salt grinder, black pepper grinder. This is our spice mix for today. It includes a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, a teaspoon of smoked paprika, and a half a teaspoon of nutmeg, believe it or not. We have some fresh green onions and some fresh garlic here we will be adding to our mix. Today's cheese selection includes buffalo mozzarella, Romano, Parmesan cheese, yellow cheddar, and a white cheddar. So let's go ahead, and I've got 4 quarts of boiling water behind me here. Just take this whole pasta, drop it right in. That water has been salted with some of this rock salt, and I put about a teaspoon of olive oil in it just to keep it from over boiling. So that's an straight tip. When you first put your pasta in, especially if it's something that sinks straight to the bottom, it's good to give it a stir to make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom. Give that a few quick stirs. And because we're going to be baking this pasta off afterward, we're not going to cook it for the full recommended 8 to 10 minutes. We're going to cook it for about 6 to 8 minutes. I'm going to go from high down to medium high right there. Okay. Our next step will be to make the cheese sauce for our macaroni. Now this is technically a bechamel sauce, but we're not going to worry about particulars. Take our 3 tablespoons of butter and go ahead and melt this down. Over a medium heat. When that is liquid, we'll be adding our flour to make a roux. In the meantime, I'm just going to go ahead and chop these up for later. I have nothing to say right now, so we'll sing a song about having nothing to say.
Sing a song about mac and cheese.
Sing a song. Sing it loud about mac and cheese. Hear that butter beginning to sizzle behind me, which means it is ready for the flour. Honey, are you stepping into my world?
Smells so good.
Add 3 tablespoons of flour.
That smells good. Nothing like butter and garlic.
So you'll see once the flour has absorbed the moisture of that butter, become a bit of a paste. I'm going to put that on low heat. I'm going to simmer that for about 7 minutes. That is their roux. Anytime you add equal parts of flour and fat together, it makes a roux. You'll see it's very pale right now. We want that to darken. We want a darker brown color in there. So we're going to give that about 5 to 7 minutes. Stir this one all in. We recently watched the history of macaroni and cheese, also on YouTube, not by me. And I don't remember anything that we learned, except that it came from the 1800s.
It was a good idea.
And it was a good idea.
Yes.
It was back in the days when pretty much any pasta would be referred to as macaroni. It wasn't as it wasn't specifically the elbow shape of pasta that we have today. That would be history quest in and of itself. Why were they always calling it macaroni? Why did they call any pasta macaroni? All right, got our garlic and our green onions. Just cleaning up stuff can get edited out. Let's grate some cheese. For this recipe, you're looking for about 3 cups of grated cheese. You can just use your favorite cheese. It doesn't have to be a 5 cheese deal like we're doing. See, buffalo mozzarella doesn't grate. It's not the greatest. It's the greatest cheese, but it doesn't grate very well. Unless the colder your cheese is, the better it's going to grate. So.
The more the merrier.
Look a little. Should look foamy. That's a terrible shot. How are you doing over there, videographer?
That's not bad. A little foamy. That smells amazing. Gotta get ready for the winter months. Although I think mac and cheese is appreciated year-round.
I will eat mac and cheese. I will serve mac and cheese, eat mac and cheese any day that ends in Y. I think is a good day to eat.
Yes.
Pasta. Now, softer cheeses are going to be harder to grate, so the colder you get them, the easier they handle the grater. The more satisfied you'll be with your results. When you're making a cheese sauce, the one tip I can really give is to use high moisture cheeses. If you use low moisture cheeses like Parmesan, for instance, then it'll lend itself to a kind of a grittiness in your sauce. So we've got a nice high moisture mozzarella. These 2 cheddars are going to be nice. I know we're doing what I told you not to, and we're adding Parmesan after this, but the point is we've got enough other cheeses to compensate.
I'm not really gonna kick any cheese out of bed though.
If I know you, that's true. As a child, I was deathly afraid of the cheese grater. Show the court on the doll where the cheese grater touched you, right? It looks so mean, but it's nothing to be afraid of. And cooking isn't hard. So, see, now as an adult, I can just run my fingers right over that grate and not worry about it. Okay. A little darker, you'll see it's turning tan. So it's almost where we want it. Needs a little more time. These are probably where we want them to be for baking purposes.
Smells fantastic.
Yeah, pull that right in. Okay.
Remember to add the cold water for the pipes. Next time.
I know you don't know how to cook, but
How lucky am I that you do?
cold water. Okay. Once that pasta is off, what you want to do is chill it. You want to shock it. We call this shocking it. Some people do this. You could submerge the pasta completely in cold water. Some people throw 2 handfuls of ice on there and walk away. I am going to rinse with cold water. Rotate this from the bottom up. Because what you're doing when you shock your pasta, you're halting the cooking process. So this should cause it to stay at the firmness that we desire. It'll stay there. Also, since we're making a cheese sauce is very delicate, and if you overheat it, the cheese will not melt the way you intend it to. If you use too much heat making this cheese sauce, you'll do what we call breaking the sauce. That's an industry term, and you'll see the cheese melts, but as you add more heat, it will recongeal and it just turns into a nasty mess. It separates. The fats separate from the flour in the roux. Back in the game, look at this. See how it's changing color?
Mm.
So that's almost where we want it. We just want it a little bit brown. More brown than that.
I wish everyone could smell that. Very buttery.
Well, no, I'm just over here eating scraps of cheese off the counter now. Excuse me. Having a private moment. Still browning the roux. It's nice amber. What'd you call that color?
Like a tan.
Is it khaki?
Sand.
Is it eggshell? Is it ecru?
It smells good. Color.
All right, to the roux. Just go ahead and give 2 cups of whole milk. Until this becomes just above body temperature. Well, a little hotter than that. This is a danger zone. If your milk starts to boil, you'll scald it and it will stick to the pan.
Save it on like a medium?
Yeah, I've got it on medium here, just waiting for it to get to a temperature where it can melt the cheese. Almost there.
So what is a roux?
Roux is a base for a sauce. So anytime you melt 50% fat, you take equal parts fat and flour, and they will, obviously the fat will melt down, flour will combine with it, and I'm a little behind on what the science of that actually does. But it's how you would make a gravy or a sauce. Start with a roux, build it up, try not to break it. This is where we're at right now.
How do you know when it's ready?
You'll see when you stick your finger in it and it's hot.
Is there another way?
If you had a cooking thermometer, it would be, I don't know, 150, 170.
A watched roux never brews.
A watched roux never brews. Let that be a lesson to you at home, children. Kids at home. What you'll see is around the edges of the sauce, you'll see it start to bubble first. As soon as it does that, I'm gonna bring it off of the heat. In fact, you can see some bubbles coming up from the bottom. That means you're risking a boil, so I'm going to put it back down to low heat, give that a whisk, and take it off of the heat. Now, the rule in doing these bechamels is never add your cheese while it's on the heat, because that will definitely cause the cheese to melt and break your sauce. It'll cause the cheese to break your sauce. So we're going to put about half of that in there first. Whisk that in. You'll see as the cheese melts, it's thickening the sauce. Now, adding all that cheese is obviously going to cool off our milk. And that's why you do this in stages. You do this because sometimes you would melt your first dose of cheese and then put it back on the heat. We are going to do that. We'll just put it back on the heat for a second. Keep it moving so that hopefully it won't scorch. Plus we're on a really low heat so you can see that cheese is getting in there. Okay, we're good to go with the rest of this cheese. Bring it back over here for just a little bit more heat.
What kind of consistency are you looking for? Cheesy? Thick, kind of?
This will thicken as it stands. As it cools off, the flour will, the gluten from the flour will thicken the sauce. The sauce sticks to the back of the spoon, then you have a sauce.
Good sound.
Looks like our mozzarella didn't entirely melt. The baking process will surely take care of that. Now it's time to add our spice mix with the cayenne pepper, nutmeg, and smoked paprika. Let's toss that right into the mix. Use my spatula to get all of that. Got our green onions, raw garlic, which is fine because we're about to throw this in an oven for half an hour at least. That homogenized. Cracked black pepper. Sounds like Christmas, doesn't it? Sleigh bells ring. It's black pepper. You can also use white pepper for this dish if you're...
We're all inclusive.
Bring it down. Everybody in.
Did we use the kosher ice cream salt?
Boil. Let's see if it come down to here. Just level it out.
Oh, good.
Here we've got our casserole macaroni with the bechamel sauce. I'm just going to top that with an extra This is the fun part.
Gotta get ready for the winter.
Gotta get... By the way, I plan to hibernate this winter. I'll see you all in 3 months.
Oh.
All that cheese. Get a nice uniform layer across the top. Everyone knows why we do this, because cheese. Now, we have our oven preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which will no doubt be 100 something degrees Celsius. In order to prevent the cheese from burning while we bake, we're cover with foil. The first part of our bake, we'll leave it covered for about 20 minutes, and then we'll take the foil off and leave it in for 10 more minutes. And until then, let's go to break. Well, our timer went off and we're ready to check on the mac and cheese. After that first 20-minute bake, we pop the foil off of our casserole and put it back in for 10 more minutes exactly. Here are our amazing results. If you'll follow me over to the
Twist my arm.
countertop.
Bubbly.
Things you want to look for. Bubbling around the edges. Crispy cheese topping. I'm going to show you our finished product. Just what we like. The garlic is giving it almost a sweet smell. Green onions have a nice little tangy edge. It's going to make all of those and all those cheeses blended together. There's just no way to go wrong with this. So, please enjoy our recipe of a baked macaroni and cheese. comment below any recipe you would like to see us make come true for you. And in the meantime, God bless and good luck.